Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very last episode of the Dig Deep with Dragonfly podcast. I can't believe I'm saying that because I feel like I've been talking to you guys for so long now, and you've kind of gotten to know me, but also the guests that have been on, and we've kind of just made this little community of Dragonfly listeners. So it's been really cool, and I thought I would end the season with kind of 5 things that I've learned from being a collegiate athlete. I feel like I have, a decent amount of experience in this field. I've been a college volleyball player for 4 years now, and I'm about to go play my 5th year at Wisconsin. So I've, learned a lot of things and come a long way since I've been a freshman, and I kind of just wanted to share that with you guys. So I have 5 major things that I wanted to talk about. I could talk about this for forever, but I felt like I would keep it short by just talking about 5. But the first one on my list is showing up every day is going to look different. I feel like when you go into being a collegiate athlete, you think I'm going to show up every day with 100% and I'm going to do this, and this, and I'm going to go all out every day and I'm going to have all this energy. And the reality is that's not going to happen every day, and that's okay because we really do think it's going to be perfect when we get here. And that's just not going to be the case. And we have to remember that our teammates are the people that understand what we're going through, more than anybody else. And so we have to lean on them. And if we only have 50% to give that day, give 100% of that 50%, which is tough because you feel like you have to give everything you have in the tank to your teammates and your team and everything and your coaches. And sometimes that's just not going to happen, and that's the reality of it. And so I saw this graphic on Instagram a couple days, and it was 10 circles, right? And all of the 10 circles on the top were fully filled, fully colored in, and on the bottom there was another 10, and those were half filled in, all the way up, nothing filled in. It kind of varied, and that was kind of explaining this is what your energy levels are going to look like, and that's okay. And if you can't give 100% each day, that's fine because there's other people on your team that you can lean on. And even for individual sports, I feel like that's true too. You can lean on your coaches, you can lean on your teammates and kind of get through each day, but you have to stop putting pressure on yourself to give 100% every single day because that's going to look different, if that makes sense. And that was something that I kind of had to teach myself because I thought that I had to be perfect every day and show no emotion, and I couldn't let anybody else know what was going on, especially my team and my coaches. I wasn't comfortable with people knowing what was going on outside of volleyball. But once I got past that and I could let people in and kind of talk about that, that's when my play started to change, and I put way less pressure on myself to perform perfectly every day because for volleyball, volleyball is a game of mistakes, which I'll talk about in my next point. But yeah, just understanding that the way you show up every day is going to look a little bit different, but you have to kind of lean on those other people around you to kind of figure it out and do it together, if that makes sense. So that brings me to my next point. Your confidence will fluctuate, but your self-worth will not. I'm going to say that again. Confidence will fluctuate, but your self-worth will not. You have to understand, each day you're going to feel differently, regardless if it's about social media, if it's about how your skill is doing, if it's about how your teammates think of you, what your coaches are saying to you. Your confidence will fluctuate, and you have to understand that from the get-go because it's going to suck, and it's not always fun, and it isn't the best feeling in the world when you don't have self-confidence, but you have to understand that your self-worth won't change based on your performance, what other people think of you, because who you are at your core is never going to change despite how you feel about it. And once I started to learn that, and I understand that now more than I have ever, it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people. But I really, really used to think a lot about what other people thought about me, and I do still struggle with this. To this day, I am still working through it because, with social media and just likes and views and all that kind of stuff, I do think about what other people think of me and how they view me. And so my confidence does go up and down sometimes, but it's pretty steady now that I understand that it's not gonna change who I am as a person, and I know who I am and I know what I can do, and that's not even just talking about on the court, that's off the court, because you're so much more than just your sport. And so understanding that from the get-go is really key so that you don't start to lose sight of who you are. So that brings me to the next one, which is not everything is a priority. This was something that I really did not understand when I first got here. I remember having a conversation with my assistant coach my freshman year, and he kind of asked me like what my goals were for my time at NIU and just like what I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, I want to do this, and this. And I listed off so many things, and he was like, that's great, but you should probably like be realistic for this first year, because the first year you get into college, you're figuring things out, you're figuring your team out, you're trying to figure out, you know, your time management skills, your social life. There's so many things that go into your first year. And so I wish I could have told my freshman self, like, hey girl, these are great goals, but you need to chill out and just like take a step back and like do one thing at a time instead of like trying to do so many things at once. Because I think like for me, I was really trying to do a lot, and I put a lot on my plate, which then took away from certain aspects of my life. And so I was always trying to have a good social life. I was trying to hang out with my friends as much. I was still trying to talk to my family every day, but I had homework, and I was trying to keep up with social media, but I also had practice and all these things to do for volleyball. It just got very overwhelming very quickly. And so you kind of have to just like take a step back and understand like not everything in your life that's going on is going to be a priority. And I would say like for me, I kind of had to make a priority list almost. I had to be like, okay, I need to focus on these 3 things to be able to keep myself healthy mentally and physically. So I wanted to talk to my family every day. That's something I try to do. And then next came volleyball and school. And so, well, I guess school volleyball are on the same wavelength, but I just had to really figure out what was going to be a priority in my life and then focus on those instead of trying to do so many things all at once. And then that spread me really thin and led to me mentally tanking at the end of the day. So I've really had to learn that, and I'm still learning it, because I think as you get older, there's more things that are added to your plate, and so you're just trying to figure it all out. But yeah, just remember that not everything needs to be a priority. Okay, so next thing is reminding yourself of your why is very important. I think oftentimes, like, as college athletes, we can really forget, like, in the heat of things, when there's drama, when you're losing a lot, when you're not getting playing time, that can lead to you losing sight of why you started playing the sport in the first place. And I think it's really tough, because I remember, like, I was at a very low place. I would say my sophomore year, and then also a little bit this year. I would say that a lot of times I started to forget, like, why do I even enjoy playing volleyball? Why did I have the dream to be a college volleyball player? Why do I continue to show up to practice every day? And I really had to understand that, like, I started this sport for a reason. I fell in love with the sport for a reason, and it is going to be tough, like, when you're in the heat of the season and things aren't going your way, or it's just your body is hurting and you just, like, don't know how you're going to get through it. Like, you have to remind yourself of, like, well, why did I start playing? And for me, I reminded myself, like, of my younger self. I created a video that was a letter to my younger self for a final project in my first semester this year, and making that video kind of healed something in me. I think, like, I not only reminded others of why I play volleyball, but I reminded myself why I play volleyball and why I'm continuing to go play volleyball next year. And it was really cool, because I got to kind of go back down my journey and kind of see how far I've come. And I oftentimes forget, like, how hard I have worked and how hard it's been to get to the point I am now. And so that video is really cool. If you guys, like, want to go take a look at that and watch that, I kind of just talk about my journey and how volleyball has shaped me into the person I am today. But I oftentimes lost sight of that And now when I struggle with that, I do go reference that video a lot because I feel like I was very hard on myself, not only like growing up and playing volleyball, but especially in college, because volleyball is a game of mistakes, and it gets really tough sometimes, especially like when your skill isn't there or you're not getting the playing time you want, or just like there's team issues, just like a lot of different aspects going on, and kind of rooting yourself and reminding yourself like there is a reason why I'm here and there is a reason why I started the sport in the first place is so important. So yeah, that one is a really, really big one for me, and I honestly have thought about writing down like my why like on my mirror or something, like in my car or somewhere where I look every day, or maybe in my locker door when I get to Wisconsin. But I feel like it's something like we should reference a lot and just like remind ourselves. So yeah, that's a big one for me. And then the last thing is that you have to remember you are more than your sport. I'm going to say that again. You are more than your sport. I think oftentimes people lose sight of this because for 4 to 6 years, college athletes are known for what they do on the court, what they do on the field, what they do on the track. I think it's really hard for athletes to kind of get out of that because for so many years, like, your only identity is that you're an athlete. That's so tough. Like, that is really hard because once you step away from your sport, then it's like, okay, who am I? I'm not a volleyball player anymore. I'm not a football player anymore. I'm not a baseball player anymore. Like, what do I do? How do I define myself? And that's going to be something that I'm going to be dealing with in a year from now, that I've already started to kind of think about now because I see some of my teammates graduating and dealing with this, and it is tough and it's hard because, like, that's all you've known for the past 23 years. So it's really tough. And so I think making a list of the words that describe you the best is important. That's something I've done across like my whole collegiate career, but I would put daughter, sister, cousin, friend, mentor. Those are all words that describe me that don't involve volleyball. And so I think reminding yourself of like who you are without your sport is really important, especially because the day will come that you're not playing it anymore or participating in it, and it's really important to remind yourself that you were something before your sport and you're going to be something after your sport. So that's really cool. And I just think, like, to kind of wrap this up, being a college athlete has taught me so much about myself, but also about life. It's been, like, the hardest thing I've done, and it's not over yet. I still have a year left, and I know that this coming year is probably going to be the hardest one yet, in different ways than my past 4 years here have been. But I'm really excited about it because it teaches you so much about yourself, and you can really prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think, and you can get through things that you never thought you would, and you can kind of prove people wrong on the things that you can accomplish, and just like see how things turn out for you, I think is so cool. So yeah, I am excited for this next year. I'm so excited that I have been able to share kind of my journey a little bit with you guys in this season of Dig Deep with Dragonfly college edition. And I'm so excited for the high school one to start airing. But yeah, this has been super amazing. I am still going to be reachable via Instagram and all that good stuff. So if you guys have questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me via Instagram DM. My time at Dragonfly is coming to an end, but I wouldn't change it for the world because this past year has taught me so much, not only about myself, but media, and just like learning other people's stories and getting to know them has been really cool. So thank you guys for listening to the final episode of Dig Deep with Dragonfly. I'm so excited for the future of this, and I have been so thankful to have been a part of the start of it. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Follow us on Instagram. You can listen to the full episode here on Spotify or on YouTube, so make sure you follow us and subscribe to us on there. Again, thank you so much for listening, and I'm so thankful for my Dragonfly family. And yeah, this is so crazy, but I guess I'll see you around. Bye, guys.